The finals is out and it's dominating FPS Legends like Call of Duty, Battlefield and Halo in terms of player count. But can the finals really survive in this hyper-competitive shooter landscape of 2023? In this video, I'll explain why the finals is here to stay and why I think it's gonna carve out its own unique little niche in the FPS world. And I'm going to do this by explaining exactly who the finals is for and how it stacks up against the other four major established shooter genres. Let's start with the most obvious one. Now I realize Battlefield games aren't exactly a genre, but considering the finals is made by Embark Studio, which is founded by ex-Battlefield devs, I think this comparison deserves its own segment. If you love the destruction of Battlefield, but you've been put off by EA's shady antics, the finals is definitely the game for you. The visual spectacle with the destruction in the finals, combined with the slick Unreal Engine 5 graphics, easily makes this one of the best looking FPS games in a while. While Battlefield offers the fantasy of being in a war movie like Saving Private Ryan, the finals offers a distinctly video gamey experience, closer to movies like The Hunger Games or Ready Player One. There's almost a retro throwback quality to the finals, like it was made in the 90s or something, but with space age tech from the future. In terms of glorious chaos, the finals and Battlefield are evenly matched. But the finals offers way more in terms of being a competitive PvP game. In Battlefield or PlanetSide 2 or even a true milsim like Squad, you're just a cog in a machine. Winning and losing kinda doesn't even matter. But in the finals, if you're good and you're working together with your team, you can actually clutch it up and win. So while I love Battlefield, I just think the finals offers way more in terms of being an actual game instead of just being a war movie simulator. Oh, and the finals is free, while Battlefield is generally $60 plus a 2-year wait while they actually finish the game. But since we're talking about competitive play, how does the finals compare to true esports like Counter-Strike, Valorant, and Rainbow Six Siege? There's a reason why Counter-Strike has been the undisputed king of FPS games for like a decade. It offers the purest, most competitive shooter experience with very little RNG that affects the outcome of a match. The finals, on the other hand, is all about that chaos, baby. For starters, the finals has 3 to 4 different teams competing on the map, which means you're constantly getting third-partied. Plus, the destruction and absurd utility at your disposal, not to mention the relatively gigantic map sizes in the finals, definitely makes for way more variations in how a round can play out. So I'd say if you're a true Sigma sweat who enjoys yelling at your teammates for screwing up, well, Counter-Strike is still probably your best bet. If, on the other hand, you're looking for a more arcadey, varied competitive experience, the finals is going to blow your mind, especially considering it can be enormously fun even when you lose, and it still provides those nail-biting, clutch moments you want out of an esport.
Impressive, and one can't help but wonder about the role of the sponsor.
Time's up and the curtain falls on this match.
And while it can take weeks in Valorant or Rainbow Six Siege to learn the maps, the lineups, and agent roles well enough to really contribute to the team, pretty much anyone can jump in and immediately have an impact in the finals. Just be warned that you cannot solo carry your way to the top in the finals. There simply aren't enough bullets in your magazine to team wipe an enemy squad. Teamwork is the heart of the finals, and I love that. Although it can be frustrating when you get matched with loners that would rather eat than cooperate with the team. So maybe find some friends to play with if you really want to sweat your way up the ranked tournament mode. But now it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. How does the finals compete with the scourge of our time, the Battle Royale genre? Before I go on though, I have something really interesting to share with you. If you're anything like me, you find yourself gaming at like 2 in the morning, but it's hard to find a game in your region. So you switch over to a server in another region, but now you're on like 200 ping and you can barely land a shot. Allow me to present the Gear Up Booster. This app gives you a more optimized connection to the game server, which reduces your ping by about 25 to 30% in my experience. For example, when playing Battlefield 5, I found that turning on the gear up booster was giving me about 135 to 140 ping playing on European servers, compared to an alarming 175 to 180 ping when the gear up booster was turned off. The connection was also more stable and I got way fewer lag spikes despite my dodgy internet connection. The finals doesn't have an option to display ping yet, but using the gear up booster interface it was clear that my ping was around 140 milliseconds on European servers playing the finals. So you're seeing pretty much the same reduction in latency. Seriously, as soon as I turned on the gear up booster, I had my best game ever on the finals. Here's a clip to prove my point. By the way, Gear Up Booster is unbannable and safe on competitive games, so you don't have to worry about losing your diamond rank or whatever. Gear Up Booster is also super easy to set up. Just download the app from the link in the description, install it and hit boost on the game of your choice. And since this video is sponsored by Gear Up Booster, it would really help my channel if you click that link. The trial is free, so you don't really have anything to lose. Big thanks to Gear Up Booster for offering me this collaboration. And now on with the video. Controversial take. Battle Royales aren't that fun.
Hey, nobody cares.
I think the real reasons Battle Royales became so popular was because A, they were fun to watch as a spectator sport, and B, Battle Royales were really good at behavioral conditioning. Let's start with the first point. Obviously Battle Royales were fun to watch because you only have one life, and the tension and exhilaration that provided to the viewers was incomparable. But playing Battle Royales can be like sticking your in a blender, because it relies heavily on the random dopamine hits of variable schedule operant conditioning developed by sadistic behavioral psychologists like B.F. Skinner. The main reason Battle Royales are so addictive is that you never know when that sweet, sweet chicken dinner is coming. Could be 2 games in, or it could be 50 games in. It's totally random, which it turns out is the best way to get someone totally hooked. So just like the rats in B.F. Skinner's boxes, we keep going back for more and more until our eyes bleed. Now the finals is also incredibly fun to watch. The theme and vibe are perfectly attuned to a spectator sport. The pure visual spectacle of the destruction alone just makes it way more unpredictable and engaging for the viewer. But is the finals as addictive as Battle Royale shooters? Well, in my experience, no. I find myself jumping in for 4 or 5 rounds of the finals and then I'm out until the next day. The good news is that I actually enjoy most rounds of the finals compared to a Battle Royale where a low skill player like me might play 10 to 12 rounds of absolute garbage, getting destroyed by sweat lords and hackers before I finally get to really play and have fun. And yet that element of addictive unpredictability, getting third partied and ending up in tense scenarios where you cannot afford to die, that's all still there in the finals. And I'm sure there will be plenty of people that will devote their lives to mastering this game at a godlike level. So if you're a player that's happy to play a game for like 60 to 100 hours and then move on, the finals is definitely going to be way more accessible and enjoyable for you. If on the other hand you're really looking for that 5,000 hour grind, well, BRs might still be your thing. Which brings me to the most important comparison in my opinion. How does the finals compare to other arena shooters? By my definition, the finals is primarily a competitive arena shooter with constant respawns, insane movement, and pretty much non-stop action. It's much closer to something arcadey like Halo or Call of Duty than it is to a hardcore tactical competitive FPS like Counter-Strike. The primary goal here, as I went over in my last video, is to have fun. The finals is a sandbox for players of any skill level to come together and battle it out in the most absurd ways possible. And here, the finals absolutely demolishes the competition. Arena shooters like Halo and COD have completely dropped the ball lately with lackluster, rushed content and extremely predatory monetization models, not to mention zero innovation. In terms of the freedom of movement, the fantastic detailed maps, The crazy weapons like the sledgehammer and the flamethrower and the RPG. Well, let's just say that if you like stuff like Halo and COD and you haven't jumped into the finals yet, I am pretty confident you'll absolutely fall in love with this game. The time to kill is slow, so you have plenty of time to really battle it out with your enemies instead of the whole match turning into a game of hide and seek, where whoever sees the other person first wins pretty much 100% of the times. The new game mode, the cash out mode, is insanely fun and dynamic, way more engaging than the brain dead King of the Hill or deathmatch modes in old school arena shooters. And while you can respawn, it's on a timer, which can often cost you the game, so dying still has meaningful consequences, which just cranks up the adrenaline even further. The only scenario where I can see people preferring old school COD to the finals is if they categorically and vociferously despise teamwork. In the finals, gunplay matters a lot, but teamwork is king. While in most arena shooters, your positioning and head-clicking ability become key, in the finals, the team that simply sticks together wins almost every single time. While I love a game where I can have a KD of like 6-1, just absolutely destroying some poor noobs, it really just gives me an existential crisis to just silently murder faceless enemies with no objective for hours on end. I want to talk to people. I want to cooperate.
I'm alone! Why have you done this to me, God?
Unfortunately, even in the finals, only about 2 out of the hundreds of people I matched with turned on their mic and talked. This, in my opinion, is the single biggest thing holding the finals back. So please, let's get those Discord groups going and let's start talking, and this game will be a legend. The other major complaint I've heard from people about the finals is that they nerfed the movement. And while the devs deny this, it's clear that the game is definitely not balanced in favor of the light, speedy players anymore. And while I do believe that's a deliberate design choice to prevent one skilled player from owning the entire server, I still think it's fair to say that the light class needs a serious buff. Fix these couple of issues and I believe the finals will become a household name with a dedicated player base and years of success. The finals is definitely here to stay. It peaked at about 242,000 players on Steam and still averages about 100,000 players at any given time. But that's not even including the legions of players on Xbox and PlayStation. The game offers plenty of innovation that you can't get anywhere else. If they can keep the quality at the level it's at now and keep adding these insanely beautiful maps they've got going and keep adding fun new toys to blow things up with, I think the finals is going to form a genre of its own, the destruction shooter, taking the arcadey Battlefield formula and bringing it to a competitive experience. Hopefully I've given you some idea if the finals is the right game for you, and if you're still on the fence, just jump in. It's free and it's fun and you won't regret it. Also, thanks to everyone who subscribed on the last few videos. It's been really encouraging and I appreciate it. Thanks again to Gear Up Booster. Check out the link in the description if you want to support my channel. Cheers, I'll see you in the next one.